Yankees Files podcast. We are back. I'm Will Harris, your Steven Ridings, and the rest of you are fans of the team with the best run differential in baseball, with the highest WRC plus in baseball, with the most WAR from batters in baseball by a ton, with a 5.5 game lead as we record this in the American League East. That team, of course, Steve, is the New York Yankees, who are coming off a win against the Los Angeles Dodgers when we last saw them, and are getting ready to embark on a series with the Cleveland Guardians. But before we get into everything that we're going to get into on this episode, how are you doing?
Good, man. Kudos on the Steven Ridings poll there. I will always love Steven Ridings. It was like, what, 3 innings? I don't think it was even more than that.
It was a short time.
It was, but that first time out was just so electric. I still think about it. I still think he could have been great.
Did he kind of speak to you because of being an educator?
Yeah, he was like a sub or something, right? Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I think he was kind of like a serious person.
He had like no humor in him. He was very like a serious guy. But yeah, that
Who was it? He pitched in that game. What was it? It was Heel's debut, and then he pitched, and then Brody Kerner pitched.
I honestly, I don't.
I think it was like the Yankees had.
I don't remember the rest of it.
I'm pretty sure it was the Yankees had. Well, yeah, he did do that, but I think the Yankees had 3 guys combine for a win in a game in which every guy was making his major league debut.
Oh wow, yeah, I don't recall that part of it, but I remember him flexing, just like pumped up after throwing 99 to 100 a few times, striking somebody out. And we had never even heard of him. I knew in the minor leagues he had been tearing it up that year, and that was really it. Like he kind of disappeared. Sad. Anyway, I
wonder if he's teaching again.
I don't know what he's doing. He was still trying to play the last I had checked. Yeah, good, man. Really just a bizarre discussion about the Yankees over the last 3 days. I mean, just like a whole acid trip of thoughts. Just what went through the fan base's brain with feeling like absolute doom and gloom seemingly. And then, yeah, then they win one game and it's kind of just like, oh, okay, it's fine. And it's like a whole range of emotions over 3 games that just did not warrant that response at all. And the second game sucked. The first game was close and really could have gone either way. Some things didn't go the Yankees' way. Then they won the third game pretty handily, and that's really all it is. A random May series. The Yankees took 1 game out of 3. That's it. They're playing well.
Yeah, they are playing well, and I was disappointed, though not surprised, by the reaction that people were having to the series, because it was all confirmation bias. These were people who went into the series thinking the Dodgers are better than the Yankees, which they probably are, and saw the Dodgers win the first 2 games and went, see? And that's, as you pointed out, that's a temper tantrum. That's not analysis. If the Yankees had managed to win the first game, which was very much within reach, I mean, it was silly balls in play and a run that got walked in and the failure to step on Tony Gonsolin's throat, and Max Fried having his only bad start of the year. Like, a lot had to go wrong for the Yankees to win that game, but that will not be the narrative that anyone brings about it. And if the Yankees had won the series, I guarantee people would not be saying, oh, well, they're better than the Dodgers now. They would just ignore it. And
you got to do it. You got to do it in October, right? That would be the whole thing.
Exactly. Exactly. You had some insightful comments about it. Some people on Twitter, surprisingly, had some insightful comments about it. It's just a silly way to approach analysis. And, I was talking to my dad during the Sunday night game, and he was saying, well, the Yankees are 1-6 in their last 7 games against the Dodgers. And it's like, all right, well, we know what happened on Friday. We know the Yankees had leads in 3 of the World Series games. We know one of those went to extra innings. If you go even further back, they had the 2-1 game in the June series last year. Like, we're really going to act like the Dodgers have dominated the Yankees. And people don't like when you say that. Like, people didn't like when I pointed out that the 2022 ALCS could have very easily gone differently if you looked at it on a game by game basis and you looked at
Sure.
who got which breaks.
Yep.
But it's true.
Well, but that is all true. Um, it's like you said, it's just confirmation bias. People went in believing that, and that's what they. It's almost what they want to be true. It's like the urge to be
Totally.
right, the urge to be right because they've been hurt so much by having hope or something is just so strong now that you just have to say negative things all the time. Um, but it's just not the case, and all these games could have gone a different way. And I think people just look at the conglomeration of everything. They look at, well, if it's been this many times, then I can't say it's just bad luck. And that's, I mean, there are elements to it. There, like you said, the Dodgers probably are a better team, right? So over a larger sample, yeah, the Dodgers might win more games than the Yankees head to head. Yeah, you know, that's plausible. So it's not like it's an absurd thing, but so much of it is still going to be just the randomness of baseball. The Yankees very easily could have won this series even. So yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
conversation about it's frustrating.
it's a lesson in what it's reasonable to draw conclusions off of. If your prior is the Dodgers are a better team than the Yankees, and you see this series happen, your instinct is going to be, see, but
Yep.
anything can happen in a 3-game series. The Yankees came very close to losing a 3-game series to the Rockies.
Yep.
Would anyone have said, "Oh, well, the Rockies are actually a better team than the Yankees"? I don't think anyone would have said that. At least nobody serious. So,
Well, we can
what
look
does
right
that
now at
tell us
the
about the
Dodgers and Angels.
conclusions we ought to be drawing?
I'm gonna talk. This is the Steve show now. But you could look right back at what the Dodgers did with the Angels. They got swept by the Angels. The Yankees sweep the Angels. Transitive property.
Right.
Yankees are that much better than the Dodgers, right? But that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's very silly. The Mets also beat the Dodgers in a series, and the Yankees beat the Mets in a series. Like,
Yeah.
it's very silly. And the fact that when a conclusion would not confirm these people's priors based on 3 baseball games, they don't draw it. And when it does confirm their priors, they do draw it,
Yep.
shows how unserious of a method of analysis that is. And I would encourage people not to draw conclusions about a team based on any stretch of 3 games. The
No.
Yankees, as I said, lead the league in run differential, in WAR, in WRC plus. We're talking about a seriously good baseball team. We're talking about a team that chased a guy who came into a game with a sub 2 ERA, probably
Hmm.
the only starting pitcher they saw this weekend from the Dodgers who they would see if they met them in the World Series after 3 2/3 innings.
Yep.
Like, and this must be a terrible team because Will Warren blew up and Max Fried had some bad luck. Come on,
And they
it's
still have
it's completely ridiculous.
the best run differential still after losing
Yeah,
an 18-2 game. They had a
yeah,
minus 16 thrown on them in one day, and they still, even that day, it wasn't like they needed the next day to get back on top. They were still the
yep,
best in MLB in run differential after that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just crazy, man. It's pointless, and no one. I almost guarantee you, nobody is going to be talking about this in like a week, probably less than a
yeah.
week, even. I don't know. And I kept hearing all these things about how, like, well, when they match up again in October, I'm like, the odds that the Yankees and the Dodgers play a
So
single
slim.
game again this year is so small. It's just
Yeah.
it could happen, sure, but I mean, like, when is the last time the two teams? I don't even know the last time the two teams met back to back in the World Series. Is there a Yankees Braves year in the '90s that did that? No, I
No,
don't think.
because they skipped.
Yeah, I don't
They
even know if
skipped from
that's.
96 to 99.
I don't know if I have even like a version of that.
Is it Yankees Dodgers in 77 and 78?
Yeah, it could be. It could be that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not enough of a.
I don't have a more recent one for you.
No, there's no like modern, like very modern version of that happening.
No, there's no wild card era version of it.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I'm sure it happened more often when, yeah, it was, right to the World Series, or you just had the 2 rounds or whatever. But yeah, so that's an absurd notion. I heard like multiple times people say, "Oh, they're probably not going to throw Rodon because they want to hide him for the World Series." It's like, what are you talking about,
Come
man?
on.
That's the last thing on their mind. That is
Yeah.
the last thing on their mind. It is May. It was May. It's just It's ludicrous, man. There's a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder going around Yankees fans right now, and
Emphasis on disorder.
I get it. Like, honestly, then that's the I try to be a little empathetic because I understand, man. That sucked. The World Series sucked.
It
And yeah,
did.
when I see the Dodgers come back in a game where the Yankees hit 4 home runs and they came out to such a hot start game one and then they end up losing, is there a little part of me that rekindles some memories from the World Series? Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm human, of course. Of course. And is there an element of it where that's bigger than just baseball where you'd want them to win that series to make some kind of little point or something? Like, yeah, I get it, man. Like, I understand all that, and I don't think that doesn't exist at all, but it exists so much more in the minds of the fan base than it does for the players or anybody else. They're in a 162 game stretch. This does not mean anything. They're just on to the next team.
Yeah, it's also funny, like, there's this popular narrative that there's always a team the Yankees can't get past in the regular season who ends up beating them in the playoffs. First of all, like, the Yankees, bad Yankees teams, or Yankees teams that didn't get a shot against the Astros in the playoffs, dominated the Astros in the regular
Yeah, it
season.
was so weird.
2021, 2018, the Yankees played really, really well against the Astros in the regular season. The 2021 Yankees were not good.
No.
The 2021 Yankees, I think, went 7-3 against the teams that eventually played in the World Series. So
Yep.
like it's so silly. And the Dodgers went what was it? Like 9-5 with a plus 25 run differential against the Diamondbacks, or 8-5 with a plus 25 run differential against the Diamondbacks in 2023,
And then lost
and
to
then
them in the
got
playoffs.
swept in the playoffs, like
Yep.
by a combined score of 19-6. Like, if you are basing your evaluations of teams based off head-to-head regular season performance, you will look incredibly stupid incredibly often.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. It's just
Yeah.
fans just exist differently, and it's these nationally televised games will do it to you too, because you get all these fans that don't really watch day to day, so that this is like one of their 16 games they're going to watch, so
Yeah.
this is like their litmus test. This is when they come in and see what the state of things is. Yankees Dodgers again, it's like there's a football mindset to it. It's just not how it is. It's just
Yeah.
not how it is.
The football mindset is actually a great point. I was thinking about that last night. Like, if you watch a college football game and one team beats the other like 49-14, which is probably not even the equivalent of what the Dodgers did to the Yankees on
Yeah,
Saturday,
no
you're like,
comment
all
there.
right,
Yeah.
clearly better team. But
Yes.
as I pointed out, the Dodgers lost 16-0 to the Cubs. The
Yeah.
Dodgers lost 11-1 to the A's. What
Yep.
does that say? If losing 18-2 to the Dodgers shows that the Yankees aren't constructed to beat the Dodgers and need to make major changes and all of this, what does the Dodgers getting blown out by those teams show?
Yeah. It's
What does it
ludicrous, man.
show?
They beat up on a rookie who had no spot. I love Will Warren, and
Yeah, we
it
both
did
do.
suck. It did suck to see him pitch that poorly, but he's still young, and they really made him work and exposed a lot of things with him. I think that he needs to get better at, and that's fine. But I mean, like, he wasn't even projected to be in the rotation. You ended up throwing a
Yeah,
position player at the end of this game. Like, this was not the intent taken that would be in a postseason game. It's just a whole
no.
different atmosphere. And as much as you might want the Yankees to treat those 3 games as a do or die World Series esque series, they're just not going to do that. They're
Did
not
you see
going
the
to.
tweet from the worst guy on the internet saying that, like, I guarantee you the Yankees didn't have the quotes from the Dodgers after the World
Oh my
Series up in the
God.
locker room,
Jesus
and they didn't
Christ.
have this
Yeah.
series circled on the calendar? It's like, oh, you know what? They must have, someone said circle the LA series on your calendar. They
And they
all
did the wrong
circled
one.
the Angels
The
series.
Angels. Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
man.
why they won that series and lost. You know what? It must
Yeah.
have been that.
Fans are playing a whole different game, mentally day to day than the players are, and I don't think they understand that. And
Yeah.
that dissonance makes them so upset sometimes. Because like you love to say so often is, why aren't you mad like I am? I want you to be mad
Yeah.
like me, right? And they're enraged that the players don't seem to feel that way, because they would go insane if they treated every game like you do. It wouldn't work. It would be a
Yeah.
horrible process. All of the best players in baseball right now, what's the mantra you always hear? That you just the next
Just
thing,
another
next
game.
at bat, flush it, next moment.
Yep.
Every what Judge says constantly, whatever you did yesterday is not as big as what you can do today, or whatever it is,
Yep.
right? Just always the next thing. It's the set of successful baseball. Playing like would drive people insane, and they would suck.
And it's
Th-
the thing that people get mad at us for.
Yep.
Like someone, I think it was before you officially joined, but someone last summer when the Yankees were doing poorly, but they were still like, leading the division and projected to be the best team in the AL and all that. Someone said, like, you make me so mad, Yankees Files. Like, I just want you to care more.
Yep.
It's like it's not that I don't care. I
No.
care a lot.
Oh
It's
yeah.
that I'm able to put one game or one series in context of the larger season. And I am not drawing conclusions based off tiny samples that are going to lead me astray.
Yeah.
Like, we broadly never would have had the opportunity to be disappointed by what Will Warren did on Saturday if we had not given him the chance, if we had judged him based on a tiny sample from last year. Like, that is what people miss in all of this. And it's just like, in order to believe that the Yankees were exposed as frauds or whatever it is in this series, you would have to believe that those 3 games tell you more about them than the other, 55 that they've played. Walk me through that. How does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
and no one can answer that. And it's, oh well, the Dodgers are the champions. Oh well, the Dodgers are the team to beat. How do we know?
Yep.
How do we know?
I mean, the overwhelming likelihood, again, like I just said, is that the Dodgers are not going to the World Series again. As good as they are, and they may have the best odds of any team in baseball to get back there. I don't even know if that's mathematically how it is right now.
I think it is.
Is it that they have a tough division right now? So I think I know their postseason chance is not number one. The Yankees actually have a higher percent chance, I believe. Maybe that's Baseball Reference I was looking at, which is
Yeah, Pacoda
not
has the
great.
Dodgers at an 18% World
World
Series
Series.
probability,
Okay.
which is only 2.5% higher than the Yankees.
Exactly. And it's just so the odds that they go to the World Series, that the Yankees go to the World Series, it's all low. It's just
Yeah.
low. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. And I mean, like, do the math out. If you suppose that the team that gets the World Series has a 50% chance of winning it, that means the Dodgers go to the World Series 4 out of 9 times and the Yankees go 3 out of 10 times.
Yep.
That's just appear in the World Series.
Yep. Appear in it. Then you still got to win. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's frustrating, man. And yeah, I hate the suggestion that we don't care. Like, I get pissed off. I did not have fun those first 2 games. I was upset, but not upset at some like drawing my anger towards some larger
Yeah.
process indicative of failure of the team and systemic issues and fire Boone and blah 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 blah. I'm
It's
just
just
upset it
more
didn't work
fun when
out,
the
man.
team wins.
More fun when the team wins. Yeah. Stuff didn't work out. That sucks. Max Fried's been great. He wasn't. I start thinking, okay, what was the game plan? Threw a lot of fastballs. That was weird. Max Fried threw a
Yeah.
ton of fastballs to the Dodgers. And then I was like, well, he's been doing that. Go look at the run values he has on his pitches right now. Max Fried is dominating, throwing more fastballs than he ever has. And he's got
It
like
did
3 different
feel a little
versions of
bit
them.
like he was like, hey, what if I show everyone on Apple TV that I can throw 98? Which, like, I think it's
It
cool that he
worked
could
for
throw
a little bit.
98. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
And
I
he
mean, it
was
worked until the 6th.
Yeah, really. And then even then, like he allowed the home run to 2 home runs to show here, right? But I mean, other than that, some of them were ticky tack hits.
Yep.
The Dodgers are really good. You know,
There was a lot of ticky tack in the second half of that game.
you had both of those things together. The Dodgers being really good and getting good luck. That's tough,
Yeah.
right? That's
Hard to
just a
beat.
tough. Yeah, really, really hard to beat. And even, I mean, we were going to lose the next game anyway, game 2, but there was so much batted ball luck. I mean, it became
Oh my God.
ludicrous. Every single thing they put the bat on was just dropping. I mean, it wasn't like they
Yeah.
were all super weakly hit, but I don't know how many like 85 to 95 mile an hour like low liners just kept going in over and over
Yeah.
again. Every ground ball, everything. Because they only hit
Yeah.
what, like 2 home runs, I think. They
I
didn't hit a
think
lot of home
that's
runs.
right.
Maybe Pablo Reyes allowed a few of them. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, they ended up with 5, but
But I
it
think a
was
lot of those
only
were at the end. Yeah.
yeah, they were. And they hit 471 on balls in play.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And that kind of thing can happen, man. It just in any game. And that's what one of the things that makes the playoffs ridiculous. Stuff just works out.
Yep.
Stuff goes your way. And people just don't want to hear that, man. It's got to
Yeah.
be Aaron Boone. It's
Yep.
got to be something.
And then it's like it was the Sunday morning was all about moving goalposts and straw men. Because there was a post that kind of popped off that said, like, this shows the Yankees aren't constructed to beat the Dodgers. And I said, okay, well, what about when the Dodgers got blown out by these other teams? And every single response to that tweet was, so you think the Yankees don't need to improve anything? It's like, is that what I said? I think I'm just responding to a claim that was made. I would love the Yankees to be better. If the Yankees could have a better player at every single position, I would want that. Yeah. There's not a single guy on the Yankees that I wouldn't rather replace with a better player. Except not Aaron Judge.
There's no better than Aaron Judge.
Luke Weaver, not Max Fried, not Ben Rice, not Trent Grisham, not anyone. Not a single guy that I wouldn't rather replace with someone better.
Yeah.
I want that to be very clear.
Yeah.
And that's just not what I was talking about.
No, yeah. And I think it's because I think people conflate the way we talk about free agency and things, because we are taking into effect that the Yankees have a budget. That's just that's how it's going to work, right? So, like I wanted, in a nutshell, is Alex Bregman the best third baseman we could have gotten last year? 100%. He'd make the team better. I would have loved to have had Alex Bregman, but I don't want Alex Bregman on a long contract and to pay him. What would it have been for the Yankees over the luxury tax? It would have been some absurd amount of money averaging.
Yeah, it would have been like $80 million a year.
Some
basically.
Absurd thing. And it's like, I get that. I get why they don't do it. Yeah, it would be cool if they just said, we don't care about it and we'll do it. I'd be thumbs up. It's not my money. I don't care. Alex Bregman's a better player. But that's just not how that works. Yeah, there's so many places they can upgrade, and I hope they do. They need probably a rotation arm. They maybe even need a bullpen arm at some point. I don't know. They could definitely use an infielder of some kind. Right. I hope they do those things. They kind of need to do some of those things. And to suggest to conflate those ideas. The people do that to me all the time too. It's like, so you think they're just fine? You think they don't need to get any better? You think this team is just great? You shill. It's like, no,
also, let's be clear. I want something to be very clear. The Yankees, as currently constructed, could win the World Series.
100%.
100%. The Yankees, as currently constructed, would not be close to the worst team to win the World Series in the last 10 years.
They're a really good team.
Yeah. That should be abundantly clear. I'd like the Yankees to improve, but the notion that the Yankees right now are not a World Series caliber team is heinous. Absolutely heinous. And if you believe it, you believe something dumb.
No, and I think so when I say they really need to get an infielder, it's more because that is an easy place to upgrade from the sense that you're starting at zero, right? So
exactly,
you don't have to do a lot to upgrade at that spot. So that feels like an easy avenue to go do that. But other spots, I don't know, man. I mean, technically, maybe there is a better player somewhere out there. But if you're replacing Trent Grisham, well, you don't want it. That's pointless.
Yeah.
If you're replacing Ben Rice, why? He's great. You know what I mean? I can understand why marginal upgrades at those positions you might not want to do. Things like that. But they're a very good team. And it seems like fans are just waiting for the shoe to drop and for them to not be a good team.
Do you want to guess Ben Rice's ex-WOBA?
All right, let me think, because I know he's underperforming it hardcore still. Is it 400? I'm going to say 400 flat.
It's 419.
Whoa. 419?
419 is crazy.
He should have a 170 WRC plus right now.
He should, yeah. He's 6th among qualified hitters in ex-WOBA. It goes Judge, Ohtani, Schwarber, Soto, Alonso,
so ridiculous.
Ben Rice.
And Rice doesn't even have the issues with his batted ball profile that somebody kind of like Soto does a little bit, where he's hitting a lot of balls on the ground. Ben Rice is crazy pulled fly balls in the air in general. He doesn't hit a lot of balls on the ground.
Yeah,
and he's hitting them really hard. Man, you really hope that just the luck turns around for him a little bit. That's been touching back all the way to last year.
And we don't need to talk about the guy who's 9th in ex-WOBA, who would be a great infield upgrade for the New York Yankees, who they could have had.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. It's very upsetting. I won't lie. It's if people say that we never criticize the Yankees, I will criticize the Yankees for the Gleyber Torres situation.
Gleyber Torres in 201 plate appearances entering today, 132 WRC plus, 412 ex-WOBA. Only 5 homers, but I think that's mostly park.
America, man, yeah.
14.4% walk rate, 11.4% strikeout rate.
It's
Like
basically
it's the mega version of 2023.
2023. That's literally what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like 2023 Glaber just amped up even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting. I mean, I'm really happy for him because I love Glaber Torres. Like, I'm glad he's doing well over there. But I mean, all this talk about needing an infielder, and you had him. He didn't ask for a lot of money, and he's like the best second baseman in baseball.
Yeah, this is like, you, to your point about things criticizing the Yankees, like, Brian Cashman has wronged me very rarely, but it's trading Gary Sanchez for IKF and Josh Donaldson.
Yeah,
it's not being willing to part with Eduardo Nunez or whoever the Mariners wanted for Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
And it's not bringing back Glaber Torres, who is really good at baseball and was willing to play for you at a discount, and subjecting me to Vivas and Peraza and DJ LeMahieu. Although Peraza and LeMahieu probably both had their best games of the year on Sunday night against the Dodgers.
DJ certainly did. I think Peraza, from like an optic standpoint, did look good.
I
think all he had
quality
was like a single. Yeah.
But
Peraza did look. I mean, look, he did look good. I can't. That's why I think I tweeted that. Like, I don't believe in him, but I'd be lying if that was the only game I had seen. Like, say you just threw me into a TV and said, "Watch this team you've never watched before." I would think Oswald Peraza is probably a good player. He made some nice.
Yeah, you'd think plays. He at least belongs on the baseball field, 100%. Which I did not think going into last night.
Really competitive at bats. Yeah. Really competitive at bats. Hit the ball hard a couple times. He didn't, didn't drop on him, and made some really nice plays. That throw to third to tag out Pages.
Yep.
That was great. And DJ, I don't know, man. I don't know. Two of them were pretty well hit. So that's cool. He's going oppo in the air a little bit more again, which is nice-ish. The third ball he hit, or no, his fourth hit, the double, would have been a home run, I think, in like 22 parks. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only been 51 plate appearances, but he does have a 328 xWOBA for now.
He came into yesterday with like
it started with a 2. It started with a 2 going into yesterday. Yeah.
But his hard hit rate's jacked up. It's the highest it's been in a long time. I mean, it's very small sample for everything, but I don't know. I do think he's probably more offensively capable than Peraza, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's a little bit like the beginning of 2022 DJ, when he was like swinging and missing, but hitting the ball basically as hard as he ever had.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He's weird. He's about to be 37 years old. It's just everything is gravy if you get anything.
He was good not that long ago. Like, even he always had like a portion of a season. 2022.
In 2022, he was player.
Actually like really good in 2022.
Yeah.
Then he hurt himself in that last month. He kept playing anyway, and it just killed his whole season numbers. But then even in 2023, he was good for like, I think it was like a 2-month stretch for like
a period of time.
Good. Yeah.
I'm thinking actually of early 2023.
I think you're thinking of 23 when his K rate. Yeah, because he struck out a ton in 23.
Yeah.
Or like for him a ton relatively.
Yeah.
He's evolved a lot as a player in his time with the Yankees. He clearly tried to change what kind of hitter he was.
Remember when he had a 177 WRC plus in 2020? That was so stupid.
Yeah. 2019 was real, but it was juice ball supported. But it was
a lot of 2019 was entirely real.
Yeah,
but
he was
the
really
crazy
good.
thing about 2019 is he had, basically a 900 basically a 900 OPS.
Yeah, it was like 890 something, right?
893, I think that is, and he had a 136 WRC plus. It's like the opposite of what's going on in Japan right now. Yeah.
God, that's crazy. It was only 136.
136. A 378 weighted on base average was a 136 WRC plus. For this comparison, like Ben Rice has a 377 WOBA right now. It's a 146 WRC plus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, insane. Anyway, I feel like we've kind of exhausted the Dodgers series, unless there's anything else you want to cover. Like Jonathan Loaizaga, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't even like the ball that Pages hit off him was like right where he wanted it. That's where he throws his sinker. That inside sinker on the hit, like that was a good pitch. Pages jumped in. Maybe that's something we got to read into. And I think getting lefties out is a question, and Muncy seemed hot, and he threw a changeup
Yeah.
that really wasn't even that bad. It was outer half of the plate.
Yeah.
Muncy was just on it. Like, I don't know. I'm
Oh,
not
we
that
got to
worried
talk
about it.
about Ryan Yarbrough,
Oh, yeah, we do.
the junkyard dog.
I was hoping you wouldn't. I was hoping you wouldn't do it.
Come on, Steve. Steve, everyone
No,
is
I've
embracing it
warmed up to
except
it.
for you.
I've warmed up
This
to
is
it.
like
I've warmed
hashtag
up
Steve.
to it. I had the group. I threw some junkyard dog in there.
You did, but you don't
I
have
did.
to come out and publicly shame it.
I thought it was just a bit we were doing, man. Come on.
The junkyard dog? No, I mean it. I'm sincere.
He was fantastic, and he's weird. And and honestly, going into that game, I think I said it in our chat. I was like, weirdly, I think Yarbrough is the perfect guy for the way that the Dodgers had been swinging. They had been on fastballs like crazy. They were just on hard stuff left and right, and it was like, man, just throw Yarbrough has such a high floor. I feel like every time he pitches, not that he's going to always shut people down like that, but I feel like he's going to be really hard to shell, just because he's just so funky and weird, gets so much weak contact, and now the whiffs are up this year too. So it's
Yeah,
just
well,
the
I was
whole
going to
thing
say he's posting the highest
by
strikeouts
far.
per nine and strikeout rate of his career by a lot.
So much.
He's at 8.71. He's never been above 7.82. And that was in his rookie year. From 2021 to 2024, it was 6.59. So he's up by 2 strikeouts per nine, more than 2 strikeouts per nine.
Yep.
Over the last 4 seasons, which is crazy. And I think the strikeout rate's up like 8%.
He's 80th percentile in whiff rate right now. Like that
doesn't make any sense.
He was 13th in whiff rate last year, 13th percentile, 6th percentile in Ks last year. Right now, he is 80th percentile whiffs, 67th percentile Ks, and nothing else has like gone down. He didn't sacrifice anything for it. He's just.
And I was gonna say, isn't it great how the Yankees have reliever Tim Hill and starter Tim Hill? But it's not true that Ryan Yarbrough's starter Tim Hill. Maybe it kind of was in the past, but this is truly a different guy that we're seeing. And there was an interesting article in Baseball Prospectus. I think it was late last week. I think it was before, because it didn't come out this morning. So it was before the Dodgers series, about Ryan Yarbrough and how he's made subtle changes over the last few years and the increased use and effectiveness of his changeup. It was really interesting. I recommend that people go read it. But what a find, first of all. What another notch in the belt of the Yankees pitching development and reclamation. And what an incredible performance from Ryan Yarbrough, not just on Sunday night, but to show up to this team that in February had a glut of pitching and by April and May absolutely did not. And to pitch as well as he has for a guy whose career looked like it could be over at times in 2023 and 2024. I mean, it's one of the best stories in baseball as far as I'm concerned.
He was still solid last year. Like I get some of like the expected numbers. I mean, like he didn't allow a lot of base runners and he had a low ERA. And like for the way he pitches, I kind of like, I liked Yarbrough last year. I thought he was okay last year. I think he had like a 1.0 something whip and like a low 3 ERA over almost 100 innings. Like there was value to that. And I think that's what the Yankees bought onto. I don't think they expected expected, I think is the right word, him to take this next step. But I think they thought he might, if you get him in the lab and change some things. But something I don't know how they can explain it. I mean, he's throwing his sinker 1.5 miles harder. He's throwing his four seam almost 2 miles harder than he did last year anyway. And I think people don't notice that kind of thing when you change from 86 to 87.5. But that's still significant. That's still a lot when you're trying to get
the same as 96 to 97.5.
It is. And when his other pitches have stayed the same speed, all you're doing is creating bigger speed differentials between your changeup and your sinker and your sweeper and everything else. And it makes you have to, that one little extra second, you got to be earlier on a pitch or later on a pitch. He's fun, man. I love watching him pitch. I don't know how long it'll keep going like this for, but I don't think there's any risk. Like I've heard people say like, well, you never know with Yarbrough, he might just completely suck. I'm like, I don't think there's anything in his track record to suggest that he's just like a random flash in the pan. Like he has a high floor of a pitcher.
He does have a high floor, which I think is what the Yankees probably thought Marcus Stroman was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that, of course, did not pan out. But maybe does Marcus Stroman just need to get really weird? Is that the solution?
Yeah, I mean, like Stroman, we don't have to talk about Marcus Stroman, but I mean, he doesn't throw a pitch
Yeah.
like slower than like 85, despite the fact
Yeah.
that he tops out at 91. Like it
Yeah.
makes no sense. He is like 6 miles an hour that he
Yeah.
throws all of his pitches in. It's
Whereas
just it's
Yarbrough, to their point during the broadcast last night, which was terrible, has like a 20-mile-an-hour range, even though he
oh
tops
yeah,
out
it's
at
crazy.
88. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can we talk for a second about how bad the broadcast was? Because holy cow.
I only sort of half paid attention to it, if I'm being
Okay,
honest with you.
so
Like I
we
watched the
had
game, but I did not fully. Yeah.
David Cohn forgets how many outs there are. There's a runner on third, 2
Oh
outs
yeah,
for
I do remember
Volpe,
that.
and
I
the
remember
infield's
that.
back. Eduardo Perez talking about how Ben Rice has
Lucky or
had good
whatever.
luck this year.
Yeah, that's just
No,
ridiculous.
he's
Yeah.
had bad luck, just somehow worse or somehow not as bad as last year, but he has not been lucky. I think it was Hal to Hell posted a comparison of that guy I'd never heard of, Noah whatever, who pitched for the Dodgers last night,
Noah
striking
Davis?
out Noah Davis. Yeah.
Yeah.
He struck out Judge and Carl Ravitch went insane. And then Devin Williams, who was awesome last night, struck out Teoscar Hernandez and Carl Ravitch did not care.
Right.
There was just a lot about the broadcast that I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just all. I hate these broadcasts. I hate these
Yeah.
national televised things, man. Because it's just the whole goal is to take casual fans who are just tuning in tonight and to feed them a narrative, to feed them a
Yeah.
story that will, whatever. And that's just not how any of this works. So if you're one of the people like us who watch every night and follow everything, it feels ridiculous. It feels
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to turn it into like a boxing match. And it's just like, man, that's just not what's going on here.
Feels ridiculous because it is ridiculous, I think.
Yeah. I love David Cohn. Don't get me wrong. I adored David Cohn, but there's only so much he can do. And I do remember when he said, "Yeah, they should bring the infield in or whatever," right? And it was like,
Yeah. Oh, they're playing the infield back. They're giving up a run.
they're conceding
No.
the run. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're conceding.
They're
the
2
run,
outs.
Yeah. Oh, Coney. There was
Yeah.
one thing they said. I can't remember what it is now. If it comes to me, I'll bring it up. But yeah, where it was like ludicrous. Where it's like, man, you guys don't really watch baseball, do you? Like you're not really paying attention.
Yeah. This is your job.
It's almost not their job, right? Sunday Night
Yeah.
Baseball is done. Yeah.
That's true. I hope that Sunday Night Baseball as an institution goes away and it's not just that someone else gets the broadcasting rights because it sucks. Like the Yankees playing and I get that they were on the West Coast, but that the latest local start time for a game the Yankees played this weekend was 4:15 or whatever is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, man. It's been like
Play
that
a
for
day
weekends
game.
in a row. Yeah,
Exactly. It keeps happening. It's going to happen again next weekend.
Yep, it's ridiculous. It's not fair to the players, honestly, man. Some of these I mean, like, thankfully they are off today, but there are times when they're not off on Monday.
Yep.
They play a night game and then they have to travel or something and still go play. It's dumb, and it's not. It's like a burden that's not measured into like the competitiveness of it all. But the Yankees are constantly forced to play in these kinds of games, and I have to imagine it's easier not to. I have to imagine it's easier to not do that.
Yeah. Same as you said. Same thing this weekend. 7:30, 7. Weekend series against the Red Sox. At least the Saturday game should be a day game. It's ridiculous.
When was the last day game we played? It's been a minute.
Oh my gosh.
It's seriously like now because it's been
I
a few
can't even
weekends in a row.
remember it.
Was there one between the Mets and the Dodgers? Did we have a day game in there that weekend?
Let's see.
Who did we play that weekend? Can't remember.
Okay, so Dodgers all night, Angels all night. The Rockies were
the Rockies.
local day games on Saturday and Sunday, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. But then there was the rain too, so that was all weird. But that's not that's not scheduling's fault.
They were not totally day games, but yeah, and then Rangers were all night, Mets were all night, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Saturday
absolutely.
Mets was night, right?
I don't even remember now. It's been too long. That's how quickly I flush these games through my brain.
Yeah, but I mean, we're back to the middle of May. Like it's
yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and there was a stretch where we were actually playing a lot of day games.
Yeah,
earlier on.
actually, you know what? I take it back. Saturday Mets was a day game.
It
So,
was? I don't
yep.
remember that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Was that the game they lost?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. I already can't even. The most important series that we'll all remember forever, I already truly do not remember. The only thing I remember is Cody Bellinger hitting like a grand slam. That was awesome.
Yep. That was sick. Um, all right, Steve, I'm going to want to wrap this up soon because I'm exhausted
Yeah,
and on Central Time and need to edit and post this, and it's on hotel Wi-Fi and it's going to take forever.
understood.
Um,
I feel like we just kind of whined for 45 minutes, but hey, man, I'm about it. It's
okay,
cathartic.
so let's shift the tone.
No.
No, no, no.
I'm not complaining.
No, I think it's important that we're not just here to be critical of takes that we see on the internet. We are here to have our own ideas, novel or otherwise. And I do think that's one of the challenges of this podcast because no week even is probably going to change my priors about the team that have been updated by the season up until that point.
Yeah,
So the Yankees are about to play the Guardians and the Red Sox. I'd really like them to win both those series. In
yep.
fact, I'd really like them to win all of those games. And I think they're capable of it because I frankly don't believe either of those teams are all that good.
The Guardians
Now,
are annoying as hell, man. They're doing Guardians ball so hard right now.
they're doing Guardians ball so hard, but they have a 96 WRC plus
Well, that's
as
what
a
I'm saying.
team.
That's what I'm saying. They have a negative run
Yeah.
differential and they have a winning record. It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
But like their staff ERA is over 4. They're like 20th in pitching WAR and 20th in hitting WAR. They'll
Again,
probably do some dumb
Guardians
Guardian
ball.
stuff.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
understand. But like the Yankees are more than capable of beating them. The Yankees are more than capable of beating the Red Sox. I still believe the Yankees are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in
Oh
Major
yeah,
League Baseball.
100%.
Um Good stuff might happen, bad stuff might happen. But I think to the point I was making, the challenging part of approaching baseball that way is we're not coming back after every series and saying, well, now I think the Yankees are this when before I thought the Yankees were that, because
Right,
really, like, it's the same players
right.
performing generally how you expect them to. Like, not much is going to change. And that is I think the biggest challenge of being a baseball fan who strives to be rational is remembering that. Like
Yeah,
unless 1 week is really going to change your opinion about who starting pitcher is a bad example, but like unless 1 week is really going to change your opinion about who Cody Bellinger is, then whatever
he
you
had a
expect
worse
from
week.
Cody Bellinger is probably about what he's going to do over the rest of the season, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So when you think about baseball that way, there's just not much room to be like, oh, I used to think A and now I think B. And when the team that you're talking about is the Yankees, and the Yankees construct a good team, which they have, and the Yankees play well, which they have, what you generally come back to is, hey, man, this is a pretty good team that's playing pretty well. I hope they win the World Series. And
Yeah.
like, that's where there's nothing the Yankees have done to this point that is out of step, big picture, with what I would want them to do. They're scoring a ton of runs. They're preventing runs
Yeah.
effectively.
Oh, 100%.
They're winning a lot of games. They are outscoring their opponents by more than anyone else. What more could I ask for? Nothing.
I would say one thing that not to even push back on that, but just you saying that the way you expect a player to play, that's probably how they're going to play. Things change over longer periods of time, not shorter periods. I think what made this season more interesting was that we had a lot of players who I think were kind of on a knife's edge of where they were going to turn or where they were going to go.
Oh, that's true.
So we've been kind of following smaller. I've been following smaller samples maybe more than I usually would to see like, is Ben Rice real? Is Trent Grisham really going to do this? Has Cody Bellinger really turned it around? Is Paul Goldschmidt actually like good again? Like stuff like that, where like with Aaron Judge, I'm not looking. I wouldn't have looked at a bad week, bad month, bad whatever. Right? I know Aaron Judge. I believe in what he's going to do longer term.
Yeah,
There were a lot of players that were more bets, right? That that
sure.
were
But I
that could have
think
broke either way.
I think at least in the case of a guy like Ben Rice or like Jason Dominguez, you
Jason, yeah.
can afford or it is more reasonable to base your changing beliefs off a relatively smaller sample because there's only so much prior sample that you have.
Sure, but even somebody like
Like
Cody Bellinger, who has a bigger
Grisham
sample.
is the challenge there.
Yeah, Grisham's a
Bellinger, sure,
challenge.
yeah.
Yeah, but Cody, I'm still like wondering because like he has changed what he is as a hitter so many times now that like
Yeah.
I am kind of micro analyzing data a little bit more with him, being like, so are you lifting the ball more? Are you pulling more? Now it's like really the last month he's pulling the ball in the air so much more.
It's so fun.
It is really, really cool. He's had a little bit of he's actually gotten some bad luck recently.
He has.
Ironically hitting some balls hard that have not been dropping for him. But
yeah. He probably forgot what that was like.
Yeah, to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's been good, man. He's like I think I tweeted the other day there was some write up about him on MLB Trade Rumors, just kind of giving a profile of him, and it was like what I thought of in my dreams when I thought of what Cody Bellinger could be this year, just changing his whole batted ball profile around and the quality of contact going up, and he's been like an elite defender at every position he's played in the outfield.
When do you think it's time for us to start talking about Cody Bellinger belonging in center field when he plays?
Oh, I think it should have already happened, but I don't know why. Maybe they don't like Trent in left, or I think maybe
It
it's the old
seems that
issue
way,
that
right? They don't
yeah,
like
I don't
Trent in
know.
a corner.
Because Cody's by far the best outfielder the Yankees have, like without
Which
question.
I didn't realize, and maybe this is my ignorance to Cody Bellinger's recent performance. I didn't realize, like coming into this year, that he still had this kind of outfield defense in him.
I mean, I think it was down a little bit last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think the OAA was. I think it was still above average, if I'm not wrong. I think he was like a notch above average, but I mean, certainly a few years before that, I mean, he was like elite. He'd been a
He was
extremely
awesome.
good outfielder. Yeah, but I didn't know he was going to be this good. No, I really didn't, and I don't know what.
So he, in the last 2 seasons combined, 23 and 24, he had fielding run value of 3 and 1 out above average. That I guess just means there's some arm in there. Already this year, 4 outs above average, 5 fielding run value, as well as 3 defensive runs saved versus -3 in the prior 2 years combined.
Yeah, I don't know how you explain that. Maybe it's just the dimensions of Yankee Stadium versus playing Wrigley Field can be tough. Could be that he's just stoked to be a Yankee, man. He's got superpowers now that he's pulling balls
in the air. I think it's that. He's just so happy to be a Yankee.
He's so happy. Yeah. I think that's the most rational explanation for it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy he's a Yankee right now, hopefully just for one season, and then we say goodbye to him forever. But I love Cody Bellinger, man. This has been exactly what I wanted to have happen. I hope it just keeps going.
It must be really fun for you that there was a player that you really liked and the Yankees went and got him, because the way it works if you're me is there's a player you really like and you want the Yankees to either keep him or bring him back, and they let him go. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Gleyber Torres or Gary Sanchez or Luis Severino or like a whole host of other guys. But yeah, no, it's totally chill. I'm happy for you is where I was going with that. For sure.
Like for a long time, I said my 3 favorite non-Yankee players were Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, and Mike Trout. And the Yankees went out and got 2 of those guys that we'll probably only have for 1 year. But hopefully, in the case of Bellinger, it's just 1
exactly.
Year. But and who knows with Trout? Who knows? He just hit a tank today.
He did. I worry. I think I was keeping an eye on that, and the Angels were kind of in the process of blowing it.
Don't tell me that. Really, I didn't even look. They were up 6-0, and I just assumed.
It's 7-5 now.
If the Red Sox win that game, that's a big old confidence boost.
Yeah, it would really suck. Speaking of confidence, Steve, your confidence in the Yankees after this season-defining series in LA.
Joe Adell hit another home run. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
Where was I at? I was at 8 point. I'm going to stay wherever I was because I don't think anything happened worth changing, or actually probably should have even gone up, but I don't feel like it. So 8.76, somewhere around there. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think I came into last episode thinking 8.6, and then I just like trolled you by continuing to raise it a little bit.
Yeah, I recall. Yeah, I recall.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. I liked when the Yankees were leading the league in run differential by like 5 billion, but I think that's something they can rebuild. Um, yeah, they what was it? A 6-3 West Coast trip?
Yeah, that's like truly it even rubs off on me a little bit the way the Dodgers
Yeah,
series went that I'm a little bit less, but like that's stupid. They went 6-3.
yeah,
If you had given me this, if you had offered me exactly what happened, I would have signed up for it. I would have
yeah. A
taken it.
blind 6-3 where you don't know
Yes.
the composition of it. I would have taken sweep the Rockies, sweep the Angels, get
Get
swept.
swept? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, yeah, because as we've said a lot, it just matters that you win. It doesn't
Yep.
matter when you win.
Yep.
And the Yankees have been extremely good at winning. Only one AL team has been better than they have. And that AL team plays in a division called the Central, where all the
Yeah.
teams are awful.
And the
And
East isn't really all that powerful right now either, but yeah.
okay, so here's what I would say about the East. The worst team in the American League East is projected to win 76 games.
We'll see if that happens. Yeah, probably. They'll
Every
probably win
other
76.
division in baseball, except for the NL West, which has one, I believe, has at least two teams projected to be worse than the worst team in the AL East.
Who's the other one in the AL Central? Just because that's from they have the White Sox, obviously. But you got the
Let me
Guardians, the
pull up
Twins, the
PECOTA.
Tigers. What's the other team? Oh, the
Oh,
Royals.
Kansas.
Yeah.
They have Kansas City at 79. Sorry, so
Okay.
they have one, but then the West has the Angels and
Angels and
A's. Then you have
yeah.
the Rockies, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Miami, and the Nationals. So like a lot of teams have a punching bag in their division, and the Yankees do not.
No, it's true. I don't think the Yankees just right now don't have any other like significant strong competition in the division. There isn't like a number two right now,
That's
really.
true. That's true.
I could eat those words at some point. I just don't really buy the Blue Jays. I don't really buy
I don't either.
the Rays. Don't buy the Red Sox. Honestly, the Red Sox might be the best of those three teams still, and they're furthest behind in record. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean by run differential, it would be the Rays. They're at plus 41.
Yeah, the Rays are weird. Honestly, I don't know about the Rays. They're always weird.
The Blue Jays have a negative run differential. The I don't. Yeah.
I don't believe
Anyway,
in them at all. I don't believe in the Blue Jays. No.
so
Yeah,
Steve, the
8.7.
Yankees are going to go
6.
play the. What's up?
I said 8.6.
8.6. Yeah, 8.6 for sure. Any parting shots from you before I wrap this up and we release the Yankees to go play Cleveland and Boston? I'm actually going to be at the game on Friday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice. You know, I hate playing the Guardians. I'm glad it's at least
me
at
too.
home. But
And then we
when I
never have to see him again this year, right?
that's nice. Is that right? Yeah,
Isn't
we've
it?
already
Didn't they
played them.
already
No, we
play
already
in
played them.
Cleveland?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Yeah. I remember Ben Rice hit that bomb off. What's his name? What's his damn name? Their best pitcher, who's not Bybee.
Oh
Bybee.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I hate playing them. I was just kind of like looking over their team the other night and saw that they had an under 100 WRC plus and an under 100 ERA plus, and yet had a winning record anyway. That just screamed the most Guardians thing
Yeah.
possible to me. So I do fear the bloops as always, but
For sure.
I'm also a little worried about Carlos Rodon, even though not much was made of it. That he apparently wasn't recovering well between starts or something. That's
Yeah, that was
concerning.
concerning.
I hope Luke Weaver's okay. I think Jason Dominguez is okay based on what he said, so hopefully that's all right. Though honestly, if they have to absorb any one of those three, I think Jason Dominguez is the easiest to absorb the loss of. But yeah, hopefully it just keeps going well.
Yeah, dude. Hip all over fence.
Hip
With
off.
that, hashtag HBoff. Hashtag. Oh, welcome everyone to 30 War Summer. Thank you to Bobby Osborne for inventing 30 War Summer at a bar during the Pirates series. I really hope it happens. It's
No
going to
one
be a
even
pleasure.
knows what it means, man. No
Yeah,
one even knows.
yeah, but no one knows what hashtag Steve means
Well,
either. People
there's
love that.
context clues for that one. My name's Steve, but
Yeah, and you get 30 War over the summer.
they're not going to get 30 war over the summer, man.
They might.
All
So
right.
when Bobby first introduced that to me, I was like, Bobby, that's ridiculous. Like good teams have 30 War in like a year.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, 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 30 War summer. I was like, good teams are like 35 War, whatever.
Right.
He was like, no, 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 they can do it. I was like, whatever you say. But I thought that it had like not been done at all. There are a few recent teams that have done 30 war summer.
Give me a recent 30 war summer. Braves?
Um,
No. It could be the
maybe.
Dodgers. The Dodgers, the
Yeah,
year they went like 100 whatever.
there was a relatively recent Dodgers team that did 30 war summer. There was an Astros team that did 30 war summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so like teams do 30 war summer. I want that to be clear because I ridiculed Bobby when he said it, and then I had to eat my words because Bobby was right that 30 war summer is something that can happen.
Are we just labeling June 1st as summer? Is that it?
Yeah, it's 30 war between June, July, and August, hitting and pitching.
Okay, so 3 months. 30 war over 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure somebody's done that. It sounds more ridiculous as like a concept, but 3 months, 30 war, it's still a lot. I don't know. I
It's
mean,
a lot, but like
yeah.
a team so the 2021 Dodgers had
I don't know.
so the Astros had like a 28 war summer that year. The Dodgers had like a 25 war summer. I need to look at a different year clearly. But anyway, welcome to 30 war summer. We're so glad you're here. You keep up with everything we do at yankeesfiles.com. The podcast is
Give me your
available
band
wherever
name.
you get your podcast with the added bonus of video if you're listening on Spotify. The full video podcast also goes up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@crosstownsports. We hope that you'll interact with those posts in the positive ways that you do that on the various platforms on which you're listening to them. Only if you like them. If you don't like them, we hope you just like download, listen to it a bunch of times, juice our numbers, whatever. We will be back similar time, similar place to recap this series against Cleveland and Boston. Until then, let's go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees.
And I say, hey, yeah.